set up just like your Trident.
Yeah.
Be used to it.
Perfect. All right, the new Daytona 660. We're at COTA today, 2024, for MotoGP, and we are doing some test rides. So naturally, I had to get on this Daytona. I got Jing in front of me on another Daytona. So let's see how this goes, shall we? I'll put the specs up on the screen here so you can see them. Oh, that's a long clutch. Okay, that's way different than the Trident. That grabs super late. Okay, interesting. Alright, so this is also the first sport bike clip-ons that I've ever ridden. So this will be a new experience for me. I don't know exactly what this track looks like that they're doing this year. I have not done it yet, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, here we go. Okay, so obviously the riding position on this is much more forward than the naked bike. Let's see if Jing will get over on the other side. There we go. Other than that late clutch pull or engagement, it's very similar to the Trident. Well, I'm sure the difference will appear as soon as we get going. I have a 29-inch NC, and I can firmly get both platforms on the ground. I cannot flat foot this motorcycle, but I can also not flat foot the Trident. Alright, here we go. Nope, okay, I'm gonna have to get used to that clutch. Now, that might also be, I'm used to my aftermarket levers that I've got. The dash LCD LED mixture looks exactly like the Trident as well. However, the casing on it is different, kind of more of a sporty look. Now, I've never quite been a fan of this riding position. I have not ridden one, but I've sat on a ton and it just feels really cramped because I'm leaning so far forward. I'm not a slender fella. I do have a bit of a gut, so my stomach is resting on the gas tank, but it's not super uncomfortable. It does feel obviously much more cramped than any kind of standard bike or naked bike. Handlebar width is comfortable though. I can see how a tuck would be advantageous. I kind of understand what people are saying now when they say that you need to use your legs to grip the tank instead of using your upper body. That's not as big of an issue on a standard bike. Definitely anything more upright like a cruiser. My adventure bike is also very upright. So I can see the point of gripping the tank with your legs and using that to control your body rather than your core muscles. The mirrors are interesting. They're a lot further away than I would have expected, but that does kind of get you a view around you without being super wide. Front brake is great. Very easy, very effective. Grip's nice, doesn't pull. So, wow, that is okay. So that's drastically different. It is very nimble. I dare say that the Trident is actually a little bit lighter weight. I'll have to look at the numbers, but it feels the Trident feels a little bit lighter. It might just be because I'm leaned over that the weight sensation is different. But let's talk about this engine for a minute. So it does have more horsepower, more torque than the Trident's motor. It's the same basic idea behind the 660, but they did tweak the internals, and it's got a different mapping on it. So the throttle response is very crisp, and it's torquey. I mean, triple motors are super smooth, super torquey all the way through the power band, and this is no exception. We lost the rest of our crew. I don't see anybody behind us. So I can probably slow up a little bit and give it some juice. God, some of these roads here are just not pleasant. Okay, I'm trying to figure out if my lever response on the clutch is just because of my aftermarket levers. This seems super loose. She goes. Wow. Wow. That is a noticeable difference from the Trident. Very noticeable. Wow. All right, so price range. The Trident runs about mid-eights, and this Daytona is sitting right under 10 grand US. So for that extra 1,500 or so, depending on, you know, livery scheme that you pick, all that, you get a much more potent motor. Using the legs and ducking and kind of pulling yourself into the motor is a really stable position. I'm surprised. We had a ride this morning coming into Coda, so my hand was a little bit crampy, but getting the elbows down and tucked in, sorry, got distracted for a second. Getting the elbows tucked in and the hands down is pretty comfortable. Now, these bikes do not have cruise control. I put a throttle lock on my Trident. Jing has a palm cramp buster kind of situation on his, just to kind of give you some hand pressure relief on those longer rides. Yeah, that's impressive for a 660 displacement. I think I found a new track bike. I do have a ride on the Suzuki 8R later. We'll see how that compares. obviously bigger motor, but I believe that's a parallel twin. Now that slow turn that I just did, I didn't, you know, lean super hard, but I did dig in more than I normally would, and it was very confidence inspiring. In the briefing before the ride, they did mention that there is a long sweeping turn that they said they would take rather spiritedly. Suspension on this thing is nice. It's not bumpy. There, you know, like I said earlier, these roads are not fantastic, but it's a nice smooth ride. You know, the engineers at Triumph know what they're doing. I'm sure they've tuned it more for track purpose, or spirited riding rather, than road like the Trident would be. So there's some pretty significant waves in the road there. I wouldn't say I caught air, but there was definitely movement. It plants in the corners. The suspension is tuned very well for this sort of riding. Of course, I'm not really pushing it in this group ride from the dealer. Can't really scream around corners, but it's enough to get a feel for it. And I'd say it's definitely capable. I don't have any track experience or anything like that, but I would feel very confident on this. I wonder if this is that sweeping turn with the dip he was talking about. There's that tip, I believe. Woo! How the temp's doing. Oh, it's warm. Okay, so this this motor looks like it runs a little hotter than the Trident. Ooh, the brakes is squealing. It's our fuel consumption. I would imagine it's similar. Oh, okay, so man, put some exhaust on this thing, I'm sure it would sound mean. I am detecting a little bit more vibration in the handlebars. I don't know if that's just because of the differing internals or maybe the clip-ons, but I am picking up a little bit of vibration. It's not excessive though. I've been on some bikes that just vibrate like crazy. A little humid today, so my screen keeps fogging up. Jingor likes it. Alright. Looks like we're heading back to the track. Okay, so yeah, that bump in the road was not too bad. But that was slow speed. So, don't think that this is going to be a super harsh ride, like a, you know, a tuned track bike or anything. It's definitely still a road bike. But I will say, if you've ridden the Trident or you've ridden any other... What's that guy doing, idiot? Or if you've ridden any other of the 660 models, like the Tiger, this is going to be a noticeable change for you. Now, for me personally, I'm still not sold on the sport bike riding position, just not something I'm used to. But if you are, and you're looking for a good middleweight road bike with clip-ons, then I would suggest this 100% without reservation. Why not? Alright, well, that's about it. Just to sum up, like I said, great bike. Definitely strongly in the middleweight category as far as power goes. I would not recommend this for a first-time rider. I would recommend the Trident in rain mode. That kind of, you know, thins out the power a little bit, gets you started. If you're a younger rider, just 18, 21, and not used to power and how to handle it and how to be responsible, then I would not suggest this. Stick with something like a 250 or a 400 for your first bike. But if you're looking for something to have a lot of fun on track days, then this is definitely something to shoot for. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you later. Keep the shiny side up.